And we're back here on Every Hornets Box Score podcast edition. You get to hear from us. You get to see from us. You get to read our thoughts on Every Hornets Box Score. And we do appreciate everyone's support. And I mean, people have been responding to this team in a very interesting way lately, even through the losing. I feel like people are more excited than ever. I think a lot of that is tied to how well the rookies are playing. And we'll do a little con talk in this episode of Every Hornets Box Score. But you know what we have to start with, and that is what I have on the screen right now, which is Kelly Eco's report about LaMelo Ball being open to being traded away from the Charlotte Hornets, and additionally, some reporting on how the Hornets feel about that. We're going to dig into all the implications in just a moment, but I want to shout out Evan Hale from Hailstorm Sports, who is helping us all out, helping us all get through this season of Hornets basketball and Every Hornets Box Score. Welcome, Evan.
Hey, everybody. How we doing? It's been a weird 24 hours. I don't know how to...
Oh, boy. I don't know.
It's just...
It's the perfect response. It is the perfect attitude to have right now.
It's how we're feeling, It's like, it's just been a weird day, like last 24 hours. I was at work yesterday. I was actually in a LaMelo Ball jersey T-shirt at work. And the report came on my phone. I'm like, oh, that's how today's gonna go.
I'll tell you how it feels. It feels like, so I'm in my office right now, and my office also serves where I have like my clothes. So got like small closet space in this house, and so producer Katie has our bedroom, that entire closet is hers. And then I have an office off the bedroom, and that closet is my closet. And then I have, I have a dresser here with some clothes in it too. So it kind of serves as like my place to get ready and then go to work. Okay. So beside the dresser right now, I have a giant pile of hoodies and shirts and different clothes that I've worn through the week. That I'm a busy guy, and I just don't always have the time to I take a hoodie off and get it back on the hanger. Sometimes it's just too much to bear to do that. So a pile accumulates, and as it accumulates, I look at it every day and I go, I know I'm going to have to do something about that, and it's probably going to be on Friday afternoon, maybe Saturday afternoon. I know I'm going to have to do something about that. And then it gets to be Friday and Saturday, and I look at how large the pile, I'm looking at it right now, and I go, God, I knew it. I knew this day would come. I did it anyway, and now we're here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just, this is the feeling that I have about the pile of clothes in front of me. It's the feeling that I have about this LaMelo Ball report, because I don't know if you felt the same way, but it's just like, man, this felt inevitable because of the injuries, because of the new coach, because of the lack of success in Charlotte. It just feels like however this thing shakes out, I think is an interesting discussion on its own. But this did feel in a way inevitable to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I saw the report, and my first thought was, I guess it's time. I guess that makes sense.
all right, that's good.
I'm like, I guess. I'm like, oh, this is what's going on, I'm like, I trust the front office to make a good trade about this. Those are my first thoughts. It wasn't like, no, I texted my fiance, and she was upset, and because she loves LaMelo Ball. I got her into basketball. I got her into the NBA. She watched them. She's a UNC fan, so I got her to watch the NBA, and she is loves LaMelo Ball, and she's like she wishes he plays more. Same sentiment, but she just sees him she doesn't watch every game. So when he plays, she's like, oh yeah, she's excited when we go to games and he plays. So it's just all positive for her. She's not no investment. So she was like, "Oh no, I'm so sad." And I'm like, it's time. It makes sense. It's time. So then the report came out that he didn't want to, or that he made the comment like, "Oh, this is clowning the guy." Which I want to say something really fast. Do you know what Kelly Iko posted last night after all this?
No.
He posted an engagement photo. He got engaged, and people are like, "Did you just use LaMelo Ball to get engagement on your engagement photo? Was that were you playing the long game, or are you trying to avoid this?" I just thought it was funny. It was like, oh, his two tweets yesterday were LaMelo Ball once traded, and I got engaged. It was just like an interesting dichotomy of this man's life.
That is some serious conspiracy theory. I don't know that I buy into it.
I'm not saying it is. What people said.
Right. Well, people say, yeah. People,
Yeah.
people like to say things.
People
To me, this was my take on Locked On Hornets, which was, I think Kelly is tapping in to some real frustrations between both of the parties. And do those frustrations mean that those parties imminently want to move on from each other? I don't think so. And these are human relationships that we're talking about. And human relationships are complicated. And I think when you're talking about a player that is making as much money as LaMelo Ball is and playing as little as he has over the past couple of seasons, that's difficult for him. That's difficult for the franchise. And not only that, you bake in Charles Lee, second year, continuing to try to instill discipline into this team, looking like he's now getting more comfortable with putting some new offensive, schemes in there, some new offensive ideas, maybe a more controlled offense than in previous seasons. You add on to that there are a lot of new players, rookies, young players that you have to figure out how to play with and how to play if you're the coach. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise that this has gotten complicated, and it's not a surprise to me, particularly off the latest impingement injury, that there would be some frustrations. The question is, does it mean a trade is imminent? And I think the replies we had a report from Fisher saying no. Yeah. You have the team tweeting out a video of LaMelo. You have LaMelo tweeting out the clown emoji in reply to Kelly Iko's report. And so to me, that signals, I think there were real frustrations. There may have even been some discussions about, I sure, if they decided to trade me. And then those sort of move around the legosphere of people who talk and, gets to second, third level. And then we get here. So let me just read a couple of things. I think if you're supporting every Hornets box score, if you're listening to this podcast, pretty sure you're aware of this. But let's just get it down so we know what we're talking about here. So this is from Kelly Iko. Star guard LaMelo Ball has grown increasingly frustrated with the organization and is open to a trade away from the franchise, multiple league sources told Yahoo Sports. To say it's been a rough start in Charlotte is putting it lightly. Head coach Charles Lee has attempted to implement a more deliberate offensive system with more ball and player movement and empowering Brandon Miller, who's out with a shoulder injury, and Miles Bridges, all while developing rookie Con Knippel in a heavily spaced attack. League sources say the front office is increasingly hesitant about cementing Ball as a long-term foundational piece, has become disillusioned with the 24-year-old, and is open to moving him. So what do you think about my read on how we're here?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was probably just like a game of frustration telephone that, exacerbated.
And I'm not reporting, by the way, I'm not reporting that. That's my, when I say my read, I'm just like, I've been doing this for a while. I've seen how they're typically created on other teams. Although we went through a little bit of this with Kemba and trade rumors and different things like that. But I think that was less born out of Kemba's frustration than the franchise trying to figure out how it was going to pivot away from Kemba at some point. Yeah. But that's just my read on it. I don't know for sure how all of this stuff develops.
Yeah, no, I listened to a lot of the Hornets episode this morning, and I 100% agree. I 100% agree with what you're saying. I think it was probably just LaMelo told somebody, man, I'm kind of frustrated. I'm not the way that they're doing something. Probably the way that they're balancing his minute restriction. Because I'm somebody who's frustrated. Like when it comes to clutch time and he's not playing because his minutes are out. Like I wish we were balancing his minutes better. That's something a thing that I could imagine him saying. And then that gets, hey, LaMelo's frustrated with the coaching, and then that could get, hey, LaMelo's frustrated with this or the franchise, and then or the other way around, franchise is frustrated with LaMelo being his injury stuff. And that just gets built up, and then you have multiple reports because multiple people are hearing this. When in reality, like it's just like, hey, I'm a little frustrated because it is, like you said, a human relationship.
To me, this is good because I think if there were those frustrations, if maybe there was a communication block, to me, this is the kind of thing that would unblock that. That would force Jeff Peterson to say, "All right, everybody, get in a room. Let's figure this thing out. Like, what's going on here? And let's proceed forward in a healthy kind of way." Because I do buy that the Hornets still want to see Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple. Let's see what that all means. And so I would be concerned that a trade was imminent had this report been then followed up by, Shams. Now we did get Windhorst, ESPN, Brian Windhorst saying that this doesn't surprise him either. That this is not a shock to him. I'll try to pull up the tweet here in a minute to give you the exact quote. And then they went on a discussion about what does it look like? A trade. Would Ja for LaMelo be out of the question? Mess for mess, that kind of thing. We can dig into that in a minute. But he wasn't surprised either. But no, I haven't seen any additional reporting backing this up in a way that would make me think, oh God, all right, maybe we are really getting the train the train on the tracks here towards a trade. So saying all of that, Evan, let's get to the heart of the matter and talk about, do you think the Hornets should listen to offers? Okay, so let me just say, even if we think they're not, open to trading him right now, if this report comes out and another GM says, "Oh, hey, that's kind of interesting. Let me go Chef Jeff a call, see what we can do here." Do you want the Hornet? Do you want Chef Jeff to immediately slam that phone down, or do you want him listening to offers at this point in the season?
Take the calls. What's the worst thing that happens if you take a call? I mean, you might get offered something.
It could leak. It could leak. I mean, that's the whole calculation is always, if you take the call and you suddenly the call gets out and now we do have another report.
Yeah. No, my first initial reaction after I kind of settled down was and the LaMelo stuff came out that he was clowning the guy. I was like, did the Hornets do this? I'm like, it would be shady. And I'm not saying that this one way or another. I'm like, do the Hornets want out of this? And do they want plausible deniability if the deadline comes around and they're like, hey, we want to move off LaMelo Ball? We're not sure if the reports were false or not. Maybe, he's PR after the fact. Did they want an out? Leak something like, hey, he's frustrated here? Or, I'm not saying they are. This is all just me putting the tinfoil hat on.
Okay, this is actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you. But this is actually really interesting. Let's see if I can get this on the screen here. So as we're taping, the Hornets have made LaMelo Ball available to the media, and after I assume after a practice, because they've had a couple of days off here before they play the LA Clippers on Saturday, and so we have some quotes here that we can scroll through. LaMelo Ball said in response to the Kelly Eco report, he never heard that come from me. The source is not from me. It's false info. I love being here. I'm still confident in this group and everybody here. Steve Reed tweeting Hornets head coach Charles Lee on how the team feels about LaMelo Ball. Quote, he's a huge piece for our franchise. He's a huge, huge piece of what we do offensively and defensively. Steve Reed from the AP goes on to tweet, LaMelo Ball on being content in Charlotte, quote, yeah, I love being here. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just trying to win. That's it. That's where we're going to keep doing. So your thoughts on the Hornets making LaMelo available, LaMelo and Charles Lee speaking here about the trade rumors.
Yeah, it's probably just some, not saying one way or another way, but everyone talks about, LaMelo Ball being traded out of Charlotte. It's a big thing for national media. Maybe Kelly Eco heard something or thought he heard something and it was I want to be the first one on this. That could be what it is too. I'm not too sure. I've always thought LaMelo wanted to be here. His energy and his attitude is always very positive about Charlotte. I didn't think he wanted to get traded. I was surprised when I saw the report, but I was I guess it made my brain still went, I guess it's time. I guess it makes sense. I thought, well, if LaMelo, who seems to always want to be here, is frustrated, maybe it's time. But that was the first time I thought that he'd ever think about being frustrated. So I believe that he's saying we're not doing that. Shout out Jeremy, by the way. Such a good dude. The report right here. Such a good dude. But
But this is an interesting thing, which is like LaMelo has a huge online platform.
Mm-hmm.
And while he is a man of few words, like if he wanted to speak the frustration out and create a story, I don't think LaMelo Ball would have any problem doing that. If he really wanted to force his way out of Charlotte, I don't think he would have any issue doing that. He is very online. I mean, he's his own communicator, as we saw by the clown emoji. If the man wanted to make a problem for Charlotte such that he would be dealt to the Clippers or dealt wherever, like, he can do that. So, that would be my thing. Again, I think that I believe there were some real frustrations that are, that are part of this, part of the losing. I mean, when you lose a lot of games, everybody's going to be frustrated. So I honestly, as we opened this episode by talking about how you and I felt like, oh, okay, here we go. I guess we're going to do this now. And I think that was my initial feeling. How I feel today, some hours later, is I'm like, this is actually good. I think this is a great thing because now LaMelo is being made available. Now Charles Lee gets it on the record. Now, hopefully they, if they needed to hash anything out behind closed doors, they could do that. And we're going to see them move forward, win some basketball games, and do it with LaMelo Ball. Because honestly, like when I've listened to some coverage about what the deals could be, like a Ja for LaMelo swap, Trey for LaMelo swap, AD for LaMelo swap, a couple of picks for a LaMelo swap, none of that interests me right now. Because I look at a guy like Con Knipple, and I'm thinking, man, he's really played well with LaMelo. He's played well without LaMelo, but how sustainable is that? Can he continue to create his own looks, or would he benefit early in his career from playing with a guy like LaMelo Ball? He's been really successful as a pick and roll roll man, not a ball handler, a roll man, where he is points per possession is like 94th percentile according to Synergy. He is blowing everyone out. He's like top 10 roll man. He's not even a big. And but you're a roll man. What does that mean, Evan? If you're a roll man, that means somebody is delivering the basketball to you, and you need that person to deliver it to you in rhythm, on target, or it's not going to work out well. Because you can break it down in Synergy, those roll man possessions. And so it's either slips the pick, pick and pop, rolls to the basket. Okay. And if you break it down for Con Knipple on those roll man possessions, the worst of them are actually the pick and pops where he's shooting the three. He's actually much better when he gets to the middle of the floor, either going all the way to the basket.
The short rolls are elite for him, dude.
Right. And you also have to understand too, I just said you need a point guard to have them delivered on target, but it also helps tremendously as the roll man if the two defenders guarding the pick and roll are terrified of the person setting it up, or the guy in the corner shooting a three, which is what defenses are for LaMelo Ball. So it's just you've got to make sure that you have good playmaking ability around your young stars. I'm talking about Con. I'm talking about Brandon Miller, and they have somebody that needs to improve in LaMelo Ball, but the sort of levels of him needing to improve are just so much tighter than your standard issue point guard.
Yeah, his gravity is just something that you can't trade for. You can't get that in a trade for him. I mean, my first thought when I saw the report was like, we need somebody who can facilitate. We need somebody who can run our offense, because we need to let these young guys develop, and they need somebody like that, somebody who can facilitate. But even without that, his gravity does even that much more for everybody. I mean, the amount of times that he can find a guy wide open in the corner because they're cheating up on him when he's not even that good inside. But you have to respect that. It's just it's ridiculous. And I think you're right when you talked about how this is going to end up being good for the team, because I think this is going to bring everybody together. At the end of the day, you're what, 4 games back from the play-in right now. And I know it's a weird thing to look at right now. You're 4 games back to the play-in. Like, if you can just get healthy, this is
oh yeah, ring the bell, everybody! Take a drink if you can just get healthy. We haven't been doing this We haven't been doing this podcast for very long, so it's not as if you've said that a million times.
I know,
but we've all thought that a million times watching it. If they can just get healthy,
I mean genuinely, if they can just get healthy, it's. But
it's 300 million years in the future. The sun is on the verge of burning out. Someone on Earth looks quietly into the horizon and says, if the Hornets can just get healthy.
That's when they would get healthy, right at the end. Right when it doesn't matter. The planet is going to explode before the playoff starts. It doesn't really matter. But
right.
Oh man, but it's just that's the issue, is that the team can't stay healthy, and that's why a lot of people, including myself, had the reaction when we saw that. Was like, I guess it's time. I kind of compared it when I was talking to some people about it. I kind of compared it to, remember when Hawaii had that like nuclear bomb notification on their phone?
Oh yeah. So this was an alert that went out to like the entire all of the islands in Hawaii. I think it was all of them.
Yeah, the nuclear impact was imminent.
Yeah, exactly. And so, them being on the coast, and that's what, not the coast, they're off the coast, but they're in, North Korea. You got North Korea. You got, like, that's something you have to take seriously if you're in Hawaii. Yeah, it set off a mass panic.
And there was 13 minutes before they fixed it. I remembered. I'm like, this is what it felt like. I'm like, the Hornets equivalent of that is LaMelo Ball wants to get traded. It's like, and people say that for that. They're like, I realized things that were important to me, not important to me in those moments, and how I felt about life. I'm like, yeah, let's trade LaMelo. We'll be okay. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. Like, if people face death, they get calm. I had a weird calm rush over me. I'm like, I thought I'd be upset. No, it was like, oh, I guess it's time.
Well, and like a nuclear impact, it solves a problem, but in solving the problem, you set civilization back, a millennia, and so that's sort of my take on the LaMelo Ball thing. While I think this front office has made a lot of good decisions, they've made those decisions typically in situations where they weren't forced to make the decision, where they had time to sit back, evaluate, and make that's when you can make the best decisions. Now, you're not often given that luxury. So, you've got the draft, you've got to make quick decisions there. So that's a skill that you have to have as a front office. But being able to put yourself in the best position to make the decision is also a skill. And so, to me, this would be a very bad thing for the Hornets if this were a situation where, I mean, you just look at Miami, like what Miami had to do to get out of the Jimmy Butler business was not good. I mean, I think they made the best of it, but it was not the ideal scenario for them. Like, players can make things difficult on a franchise and pivot and get to where they want to go if they so choose. I'm not sure why LaMelo continues to say, I love it here, I want to make it here. I think it's a fair question to ask. Would LaMelo Ball be doing that if the Hornets were doing this level of losing and he had been healthy? That maybe just like he does sit back and go, I haven't been very healthy, so I haven't been able to be out there. I like playing with Miles Bridges. I like Brandon Miller. The grass isn't always greener. I don't know why the man loves Charlotte. And because he said it so many times, I have to believe him. And I don't mean that as a slight to Charlotte. It's just like, I don't necessarily understand it, but I do on some level accept it, because why would this continue to come up and this continue to get swatted down? I also believe that there are real frustrations that they have to figure out. So, all right. That's, who I'm most afraid for at this point.
Who's that?
I feel bad for them, honestly. It's the LA Clippers. Because the Hornets need to play them a little afternoon ball, 1 p.m. tip, playing the LA Clippers. And I feel bad for the LA Clippers apart from this whole situation because they're a disaster right now, despite desperately wanting to win before Adam Silver brings the band hammer down on them. And they're not winning. They've got a huge payroll. I don't feel bad for Steve Ballmer. I don't ever feel bad for billionaires. I'm sorry. I just don't. It's just a rule. It's a rule for me. Just kind of a thing for me. I don't feel bad for billionaires. But now they have to deal with this situation, which is you're going to have a Hornets team that I think is brought together by this situation, that is going to want to win. I think you're going to have LaMelo Ball wanting to go out there and be like, all right, I'll show you what I can do in Charlotte. Okay, you want to question my willingness to be here. You want to try to distract me. You want to try to knock me off here, all you pundits. I'm going to show you what it's all about. So, and he's been struggling anyway. I mean, I thought, you would have to think someone as competitive as him wants to get off the schneid, and maybe that's part of the frustration is how poorly he's played relative to how we've seen him play in the past, and now he's got this opportunity to blow up LA. I'm scared for the Clippers.
Yeah, I was scared for this game before because I feel like when teams, because we had the quote on the pod about the Pelicans haven't won a game yet. We're gonna win the game and we lose. We didn't get to talk before the Pacers game, but I think we would have said something similar. I was worried for this Clippers game. I'll be honest with you, but I think now, knocking on some wood real fast. I think now that the team is gonna rally a little bit. I don't know. I'm so afraid of having hope. Is that it's just such a fear to have any kind of hope in this team. I don't want to be excited about anything.
Like it. Well, you're sitting here saying that as if you have a choice. I mean, that's the reason. Oh man, I don't know if I can get this window to look right, but the reason that we're here right now is because we're all sickos, and the reason we're sickos is because we are not made of flesh and blood. We don't have red blood pumping through our veins. We have hope pumping through our veins. Teal and purple hope coursing through our arms and our legs and our brains. It powers us. It moves us. It destroys us every time the Hornets get injured and are unable to recover. So yeah, you don't pretend like you have a choice.
I don't have a choice. And it's funny because I live in Conway, South Carolina. And Coastal Carolina is the college there, and they're also teal. And they had a quarterback who was going to transfer, and then he didn't. Grayson McCall, he's really good. He ended up transferring later. We don't talk about that part. But when he decided to come back the first time, he said, "I pissed teal." And I think about that sometimes.
Oh my God. All right. Well, it's a little grosser than my analogy, but
it's still the same conceptual idea there, All
right. So I'm looking. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. That's all I was saying.
All right. He pisses teal. We got it. Does that mean he poops purple? I guess would be the question.
Who knows?
Is it both ends? All right. Let's look at this matchup between the Clippers. Hopefully some of you are able to watch this before they take on the Clippers. So LA's offense, 22nd in the league in points per possession. Charlotte's defense, 23rd. Actually, honestly, a little bit better than I thought. They have been playing better defensively. They're not dead last in the league anymore. At 118.9, flip the matchup. Charlotte's offense hasn't been as good as I think they wanted, and so much of that is Brandon Miller being out. It's been LaMelo being out, and so how quickly can they get that number into somewhere in between 10 and 15? If they want to be successful at all this season, I think they have to have a top 10 offense. I think you almost have to have a top 5 offense to counter some of the defensive issues that you have. But Hornets 19th right now. LA's defense, this is the crazy part, right? Because the Clippers, even though they've added some pieces, some of those pieces are already hurt and not coming back, Bradley Beal with the hip injury. But they built their whole thing on defense, and that hasn't been able to come through this season. 26th in defense. So this is a game between two teams that don't really do much of anything correctly.
Yeah, suck bowl.
They do take a lot of threes, both teams.
Yeah, a lot of them.
They take a lot of threes. They're not. Neither team is getting to the rim as frequently as I'm sure their coaches in Ty Lue and Charles Lee would like them to get to. Both of them shooting a lot of mid-range shots. That, to me, that's a recent thing, and maybe that's a Khan ascendancy thing because he does like himself a midi and a push shot. But early in the season, they were through the first 3 to 5 games, they were the quintessential 3 and rim team. And it seems like, and there's some Trey Mann in there too, likes a good mid-range shot. Colin. Yeah.
LaMelo had a one-legged midi last game. I was like, oh, that's new. I've never seen that one before.
Well, I'm good with that. If he's going to get 6 free throw attempts, that was the one. When we looked over the game on Locked On Hornets, that was my thought on that game. Is one of my thoughts on that game was like, man, yeah, because Walker said it was his worst night, and certainly shooting wise, not a great night. But I thought there were some things. It was just like, yeah, it was a weird performance overall from LaMelo, in which he just never got into a rhythm. I don't think he did, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't watch that and think, man, he's doing a lot of the bad things that takes himself completely out of a game. I think maybe, you know what I think? I think he's aware of the minutes restriction in a way that's probably not great for him. He's
trying to get his shots up early is what it feels like. He took a lot of bad threes early. He took his heat check threes. He took 5 of them in the first quarter. I'm like, oh, can you not do that? Oh. And then he got into a rhythm a little bit, and then third quarter when the team was kind of fighting back, that's when he did well. And then the fourth quarter he didn't play much.
And this is the tough part with a player like LaMelo who plays on rhythm, who plays on feel, who plays on vibes, and you have that up against the medical, scientific, best we can do realities of trying to figure out how do we keep these players from re-injuring things when they have soreness, when they have tightness, when they have inflammation. How do we keep them from popping an Achilles? How do we keep them from missing an entire season because they had a minor injury that turned into a major injury? I mean, that's all that people can talk about right now with the NBA is why does someone pull up with a calf and then get a groin injury or an Achilles injury? All of these things are connected, and the Hornets are dead. They just because look, if you buy into the Kelly report that the Hornets aren't sold on LaMelo Ball as a core piece anymore, that they would be also open to trading him, then being careful with him is that would be the thing that they would do, because if he breaks his right ankle again, God forbid, if that happens, there's no trade market at that point. There's zero trade market. It becomes a negative deal, and you're going to be then going, how do we you're in a Russell Westbrook situation where you're going, we just got to figure this out. So those two things are running up against each other, because LaMelo, he's playing like he's aware of tick, 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 tick. I got to figure some stuff out here because I'm on a limited time stretch. Hopefully that minutes restriction is better balanced or eliminated altogether. Hopefully he's feeling well enough to give and maybe this is a good, again, you talk about the idea of maybe they got into a back room somewhere in Spectrum Center and figured this whole thing out. Maybe part of the figuring out would be we just gotta rip the Band-Aid off and just, roll the dice and, let go and let God. Let go and let LaMelo.
Yeah, honestly. And you're facing a team like the Clippers that they've struggled this year. Their only bright spot is James Harden, who's averaging 26.5 and 9 assists.
Yeah.
He's looked ridiculous. I'm going to look at his game log really fast because he's just put up a ridiculous amount of points. His last 5, 31, 28, 37, 41, and 23.
God, he's 86th percentile in usage, points per shot attempt, and assist percentage. I mean, those are Con Knipple numbers.
That the standard are going off of now?
Yeah.
Con Knipple numbers.
Oh, by the way, before we get out of here, I want to ask you.
Mhm.
It seems like people have coalesced, and well, not people. I mean, you got to throw LaMelo Ball into this. Have coalesced around K2 as the de facto nickname for Con Knipple, and it's one. You can see him being called that in at Duke, and I don't know if that was a nickname in high school. I'm unawares of his high school days, but K2. Do you like the nickname? I get the sense that people are split, maybe even favoring the negative of being like, we can do better than this.
I think there could be a better nickname, but K2, like the mountain, his peak is also in the clouds, so he could go off that, and I don't know.
I've got a suggestion.
What's that?
He's got to earn this. I don't want to call him this. So this is a good podcast because it's not behind a paywall, but we're a little niche community here. So I feel like I don't know that I would drop this on Locked On Hornets. You're getting something special here, folks.
Oh yeah.
Locked On Hornets, a little wider net. I don't want to give this away. By the way, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. But it wasn't the LaMelo episode, but the episode that we recorded prior to that, several hours before, I said Con Knipple reminded me of Devin Booker, which is crazy for me to say because I've been very critical of Devin Booker throughout his entire career. And yet his game is very similar. Mm-hmm. And so I went out on that limb. I made that comparison. I open up my X app today, and what to my wandering eyes doth appear is my guy, my buddy, Tom Haberstroh, making the Con Knipple comparison. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying when I say stuff, I am accusing EC of taking Miracle After Midnight from me. I am. He knows it. I want my royalty check, EC. I love you.
Such a cool guy.
So, all that to say, what I'm about to say here, I'm not ready to give him this nickname yet, but I think it would be fun, and I think it would be current. But he's got to earn it by hitting some of those slam banger huge shots that he hit against Milwaukee. He's got to do that game after game. And then I want to go like K-pop Demon Hunter, and then it can be just shortened to Demon Hunter. He's K-pop, baby. He's Demon Hunter. He's slaying the demons. And it would, to me, there's levels to this. It would be not only slaying the demons in terms of slaying the opponents of the Charlotte Hornets, beating better teams, that kind of thing. It would be slaying the demons that have haunted Spectrum Center for the past, 2 decades. Yeah, that's what I want Con to develop into, an absolute demon hunter who casts out the exorcist that we've been calling for years.
If the Hornets make the playoffs, you call Con Knipple the exorcist.
I'm calling him Demon Hunter. That's going to be, I'm laying the stake in the ground right now. He hasn't earned it yet, but I'm going K-pop Demon Hunter nickname for Con Knipple if he keeps this up.
I didn't say this because I don't know what you're allowed to bring into the Spectrum Center, but I'm going to say it now. The first game I went to this year, I brought Sage with me. I should have taken a picture of it. I brought Sage with me, and it did not work. There's still a haunted house. It did not work, but I like the K-pop Demon Hunter.
That's funny. They make those. They make like the oil that you drop into like a diffuser. Yeah. And there's always like Sage is one of them. So next time I'm just gonna like dab a little Sage like right here, essential oil. Next time I go to Spectrum Center and try to continue to cast those demons out.
When I do the media, I walk by the bench a lot. I'm just gonna bring someone just sprinkle it, just sprinkle on the floor of the bench.
We're kidding, Spectrum Security. We're kidding.
No, I would never.
These are jokes, folks. Come on,
Gabe, Rick. I know you're watching. I'm not gonna do that. I promise. It's funny. You were talking about them on the Locked On Hornets episode.
Yeah.
And you mentioned me, and I was like, it's so crazy because they will like.
Yeah, do you agree with my assessment that they are have a much better finger on the pulse of the Charlotte Hornets fan base? Not that they would be swung by the whims, but that they are aware of it in a way that is healthy for a franchise to be aware.
I agree. Like when I am out there, like doing media stuff, just hanging out, like down on the court, we'll make eye contact, and they've walked across the court to say hi to me. Like there's something like that's something that means the world to me, and they're such nice guys. Like it's just you feel like they care, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I was also just a huge fan of the team, and I think they respect that. They were also very happy that I had got my media creds, but I felt nothing but from like support from them, and I think that they care about what the people care about, if that makes sense.
That's great. Like and it's not a given. It's not that's not something. It also, as we've learned from David Tepper, does not equate to making a great franchise. Like those two, you need both the acumen and the ability to get out of the way, and also be able to understand what your fan base thinks and be able to interact with them in a human way. Tepper had one and not the other. Hopefully Schlotkin, they can put both of those pieces together, and the Hornets can start to win basketball games. They will definitely start to win at some point if Con Knippel continues to be 79th percentile among wings in points per shot attempt and 70th percentile among wings in assist percentage. And I don't know what is, can I get rebounding numbers on here? Defensive rebounding percentage for a wing, 91st percentile, 14.9%. He's not an offensive rebounder. Don't need him to be. They got big Kalkbrenner in there to do all the offensive rebounding they could ever ask for, and Moose, of course. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sorry. No, I can't read. He's 55th percentile in offensive rebounding among wings. That was offensive rebounding free throws. That's a weird stat.
Who cares?
I'm sorry, clean the glass. I don't care.
Hey, but the 80th in defensive. So I mean, I guess that's something, right?
Yeah. Those are freebies. Now knowing what the freebies are, that's a stat if you know how to get who does a good job of compiling stats on rebounds where it's like these were gimmies versus like, I want that separated in the data. Like how many were just like, all right, the ball, it's right there, and contested rebounds. That's what I want. I want contested rebound percentage, because honestly, I think Cons would be very good. We talked about this on Locked On Hornets, which is that he does a good job of making contact early and, rebound using his size, because he does have size. Like he's not the tallest in the world, but he is, he's thick. Like, I mean, he's got some beef. And so to throw that around at the wing position, he's not going to hit a center like that. But if he's up against Ben Mathurin, like he was able to get in on Ben Mathurin early, disrupt him, and get the offensive rebound.
And my counter to your center thing is, he might not get into him, but he is so good at timing his jumps on the rebounds too, where he'll go up and he'll snag one over a center. Like he won't be able to box him out, but he might time it better than the center and grab it. His rebounding was something that I did not expect to be so good coming in, but God, he has been an amazing rebounder. He's been a couple of games where he's been like a rebound or like an assist or a little bit of both away from a triple double. Like I know he did against the Lakers. He was like a rebound away or an assist away, and then this last game, I think he was like 30 something or how many points he had, and like 8 and 9. Like he was, he does everything.
Forget it. He's Demon Hunter. I'm ready to give it to him. I don't care, because I think I'm going to give it to him in the hopes that he is the one that casts out the demons. K-pop, let's go. If I'm Con, if you're listening to the show right now, I know you are a friend of the show. If you're listening to the show right now, here's what I would say. Lean into this nickname. You can steal it from me. If you're the one person that can steal this nickname from me, take it on. K-pop is huge. You'll get a whole new fan base out there if you adopt this nickname. K-pop Demon Hunter. I want everybody, the sickos out there that are watching this episode right now, I just want you to remember that it originated here. And so when someone inevitably takes it from me, steals it from me, I want you, the army, to go out there and say, no, email or mail Doug a royalty check for stealing this nickname. It's a great nickname.
I mean, K-pop is the reason they had to change the All-Star voting. Because right. Andrew Wiggins was an all-star starter because the K-pop fans voted him in there. So I mean, get Con K-pop Demon Hunter, get him in there, get him going.
Let's go. I
my
love
hero,
it.
man.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, if you're listening, and for supporting the thing that we're doing here, which is being a bunch of sickos, chatting with each other during games, the game notes. We've got Nick Thomas on the game notes for Saturday. I'm going to be throwing a few of my thoughts on LaMelo that I've shared here and any additional thoughts I have based on these quotes that we're getting now. I'll throw those into the game notes as well. So stay tuned for that. And final word from you, Evan, before we get out of here.
No, I mean, just go Hornets, man.
That's it. That's all we can do. So we can just go Hornets.
Hornets.
Somebody tweeted Will Anderson, a quote from Will Anderson after the game, the win that the Texans got over the Bills last night. And he said, "Swarm. When all else fails, swarm." And so I quote tweeted that and said, yes, I was chanting that in the fetal position after the LaMelo news. That's all we can do. When all else fails, when LaMelo's injured and Brandon's injured, when all else fails, swarm. That might have to be the new sign off for this show. When all else fails, swarm. Thanks for supporting us. We'll talk soon. Go Hornets, go America. Let's swarm Charlotte.